Another lead session. We are privileged to have in our midst our guest speaker. So please join me with a welcoming ovation. Let's invite to the podium Dr. Yemi Eniola. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
Let's be seated. Good morning. I welcome everybody to God's presence this morning. Man of God, welcome back. All right, so let's roll. Last week, we talked about 3 fruits. Who can tell me the 3 fruits? We talked about 3 fruits that manifest in somebody who has a growth mindset. Who can tell me those 3 fruits? Let me see your hand if you want to tell me. That's no chorus answer. No, I don't want people from this side. These people from this side were more excited. So, I want people from this side. All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I think it was visionary.
You think? Be sure.
Visionary, confidence, and focus.
Thank you very much. Let's clap for him. So you qualify for a book. Just meet me after. Once I'm going, just meet me. I'll give you a book. All right. So there were 3 things we talked about. First, we said the person has to be a man or a woman of vision. That's what you see manifest in people who have a growth mindset, people who are not fixated, people who in spite of the environment they have grown up, tell themselves, look, I need to be moving forward. A lot of us pity ourselves so much that we stay on one spot and we are thinking about the person who did not help us, the person who helped us, who hurt us, who did not hurt us. Those things don't matter. Some of us stay and, I was telling you when I showed you the picture of myself and my twin brother where we were doing our, I think, 7th birthday. I'm sure you didn't look at the background. Did you? It was a face, it was a, those rooms. Some of you are so privileged that you are living in a house where you have your own room. We didn't have that luxury. It was room and parlor. Not neighbor, sorry. Room and parlor, where everybody will need to come out and go and queue in the morning to have your bath. So the children will usually have their bath outside. Are we on the same page? So don't look at me and think I was born with a silver spoon. There was no silver spoon that time. What they had was spoon made out of cast, condemned iron, and then, man of God, you understand this kind of heavy spoon that don't go bad. All right, but, so it doesn't matter the environment you were born. It's possible that you are given birth to in a slum. It's even possible it was worse or it's worse than Morocco. But a man of vision will be born in that kind of environment, but his life will be outside the environment. His thought process will be what? Outside the environment. They keep telling themselves, I may be here, but this is not where I belong. Are we on the same page? So whatever your situation, just know that you can be better. If you have that growth mindset, you keep telling yourself, I can be better. And then you keep telling yourself, this is where I want to be. And once you keep focused, your focus is on where you're going, then of course you get to where you're going. And one of the things I have discovered in life is that as you progress, there's a tendency for you to see a lot of opportunities. A lot. But you see, sometimes seeing those numerous opportunities can be distraction. So it's important that you are what? You are focused. This is what I want to achieve. Now, when you achieve that you have set for yourself, then of course you can now begin to think about other things that you add to it. Then of course we said you need to be confident about life. You need to be sure of, and I'm careful to also talk to you when I say you should be confident. Your confidence should be built on knowledge. Am I communicating? If your confidence is not built on knowledge, that's just pure arrogance. That means you're just believing that things are okay, are going to be okay when there is nothing that you're looking forward to, when there's no information that you have that you intend to work on. So it's important that you are not just a man of vision or a woman of vision, but you're somebody who is focused on what you're doing, and that you do it with confidence, built on knowledge, built on information that you have. The fourth thing we're going to be looking at is you must have a winner mindset. There is nobody here who has not gone through an experience. But of course, if you go through experiences that are not palatable, you don't stay there and begin to trouble yourself. You must see every failure as an opportunity to do what? To learn. When anything happens to you, just step back and ask yourself, what have I learned? Or what is it for me to learn in this experience? You know, I work in an environment where it's so political when it shouldn't be. And you find yourself in people just want to just get you on their side. You'll be amazed that in the university environment, we have camps. That's where you least expect that there should be camps. But there are camps. And then the next thing you're asking yourself, what are they fighting for? You know, in PDP, we know what they are fighting for. When the politicians are fighting, we know what they are fighting for. They are fighting for national treasury. But what are we fighting for? But unfortunately, you see that fight, and it's usually very intense. And it's so intense that you can't imagine the kind of things people who are educated condescend to. You will come to your office and you will see that they have sprayed blood at your entrance. You know, Uniben own was the worst. The boss came to his office and saw a coffin in front of his office. It was that bad. And before long, the guy had stroke and he died. Now, but when you find yourself in those situations and you take a decision and that decision doesn't work well for you, what do? Do you stay and begin to murmur? No, you sit back and say, what have I learned? There's so many things I have learned, you know. I have also, God has made me in the process to learn that when you trust in men, they will always fail you. Did you get that? When you trust, when you expect that men are the people who will take you, I'm not saying that God will not use people, but I'm saying, but if you put your whole trust in men, be expectant. And what you will get is what? Failure. How many of you know someone that said, oh, come and see me on so day, then the day you go, you know, when I was in the university and it was time for me to write my project, and I needed funds. So I reached out to one of my uncle who will always tell you how my parents, if not for my parents, wouldn't have gone to school. So naturally, you will expect that when you arrive there, what will happen? He will support. And I got there. The first thing he did was to make me sit down. And I was like, I'm wasting time. I need to be back on my way to Zaria. And the guy kept me waiting. And as I was waiting, one of my juniors in secondary school, you know, somebody who was probably in Form 1 when I was in 5, walked in, she recognized me, and my uncle had not even set his eyes on me. He just said, tell him to sit down and wait. And this guy came in and just walked straight into my uncle's office. I'm like, what's happening? This is serious. And then next thing I saw, they went to buy 2 plates of food. The 2 plates entered, and I was outside. I was just imagining what was in the plate. Let me tell you, by the time this man came out to see me, he was telling me, I will send somebody to you next week. Even transport money back to Zaria, he didn't give to me. So I sat down there and I was imagining where I was going to get transport money back to Zaria, which was maybe about 1 naira or 15 naira, I can't even remember. Or kobo, not naira, kobo. You know, and so I just stepped out in faith. I said, I knew somebody I will walk to. And as I was coming out of the gate, I met another uncle who was not even educated, but who likes to speak all kind of English. You know, those old men, you know, when he heard the word attackation, what is all this attackation about? You know, and he saw me and he said, where am I coming from? I told him, where are you going to? So without asking me, they had been given. This man just pulled out money, you know, just pulled it out, you know, all these contractors, that just put money and give to me. It was just what I needed for transport and for my project. So I went back. So you see, the person I did not even imagine will help was the person that will help. And in my life, I've seen it repeat itself. That when you focus on people, they do what? They disappoint you. Just put your trust in God. Am I communicating? Let your trust, let your confidence be in God. And every situation you find yourself, be sure that God is working out something for you. God is making you to learn something that will be valuable to you, if not immediately, sometime in the future. Is that okay? So every setback that you contend with, just know that it's another opportunity for you to what? To learn and to do what? To move forward. And it's also an opportunity for you to know that you should not repeat that same thing. If you do it again and you fail, then of course you don't have anybody to blame but what? Yourself. All right. Then I also expect that if you're going to be one who manifests the growth mindset, you need to be bold. What did I say? You need to be bold. Bold means contending with your fears. How many of you have read Who Moved My Cheese? Who Moved My Cheese? Who Moved My Cheese? It's a book I recommend that you ensure that you read. Make sure you get it this week. I'm not sure it's more than 500 or 600, and they have the cheap copy, the cheap prints around. And you can finish that book in a day. And after you have done with that book, your life, I'm sure, will not be the same. Is that okay? So please get it. Who Moved My Cheese? Who Moved My Cheese? Very interesting book. One of the questions they ask in that book is, what will you do if you are not afraid? What will you do if you are not afraid? And those who have the growth mindset are people who take bold decisions. They go ahead and say, look, this is what I believe in, and I need to take a step towards achieving it. Somebody came and met me and said, look, that he's not educated. But you see, you will not even know he's not educated because his English is fantastic. But no degree, nothing. And he had worked with one of the construction companies in Nigeria and had risen to a point when they now wanted to make him a manager. So somebody now asked, what of your qualification? It was at the point of becoming the manager that he was asked what his qualification was. And he said, he doesn't have any. They said, you mean in your record? No, he said no.